Our story begins with our marriage in 1976 in New York. I was a native New Yorker, and Will an immigrant from Canada, who was originally from Holland. As Baha'is, we were supremely aware that hospitality is not only a Baha'i value, but that we would do well in accepting the idea as a shared goal of our marriage. So for us, the definition of home became being able to offer hospitality and having that offer of hospitality accepted.
For those who know us, have come to learn of our involvement with the Baha'i community, both here and elsewhere in the world. As soon as we arrived in Fredericton in September '79, we were heartened to see that the National Baha'i community had already sent us our new membership cards. We were welcomed as Canadian Baha'is as soon as we crossed the border into Canada. Such a membership, however, did not mean that our activities would be circumscribed by the interactions within the Baha'i community.
Within the context of the Baha'i teachings that highlight the need to see ourselves as world citizens, we felt impelled to welcome all into our home. We wanted to make connections outside the home. At that time, we didn't realize the many challenges we would have to overcome if we were to embark on our lifelong hospitality dream. To our surprise, we found it difficult to find people who would either accept our offer of hospitality or invite us into their homes and social circles.
We were very lucky that we had a Baha'i community that welcomed us and treated us like family. We had moved from New York with a 2-year-old, and our second child was born a month after our arrival, cried 24 hours a day. Lucky for us that a local Baha'i worked at the UNB library. She showed up at our home every Wednesday afternoon and sent Debbie to take a nap or drive or to go shopping. That generosity made a huge difference in our first year, as we had no family in Canada to share some of the burden, and there did not seem to be many women around who were also home with newborn babies.
We also enjoyed the street friendliness of Fredericton. Coming from a big urban city, we enjoyed being greeted by people we'd met almost immediately. But as friendly as people were on the street, there were barriers to making friendships and having people accept invitations to our home that were at first invisible to us. Close family bonds created boundaries that made people hesitate to develop ties beyond the family. These barriers related to family connections were invisible to us and often seemed to be insurmountable.
Our being a Baha'i family constituted a second challenge. Some people seemed to be nervous to come into the homes of Baha'is. They knew little or nothing about the Baha'i faith and had been worried about what was being done in our home. For example, even recently when we had contract workers come to our home, they told us that they had been warned about us because we are Baha'is. Similarly, a friend reported being told they belonged to some strange religion. It goes without saying that these people did not know anything about Baha'is. It was simply that we were somehow different. Some might be nervous about coming to a Baha'i home, no matter what.
As another example, we host, when we're not in the middle of a pandemic, a large potluck supper every year. For the first 2 years after we moved from Fredericton out to this area in 1987, we invited our neighbors. We tried written invitations, knocking on doors, and phone call invitations. It seemed no matter what we tried, no neighbors would come to dinner except for one couple that wanted to sell us Amway.
Trying to overcome these invisible barriers has been a perpetual task over the 40 years that we lived in New Brunswick. It has called for innovative approaches. We found that immigrants and others who come from away are more likely to accept our invitation. One evening, we're having dinner at a friend's house, a rare event, by the way, and we realized that our host and all the guests were immigrant or had come from somewhere else in Canada. This discovery held one of the keys to our overcoming barriers to having others accept our hospitality, and to our feeling New Brunswick is indeed our home.
Including our children in our hospitality was also important. As soon as we started having larger groups for our potlucks, we wanted our kids to feel ownership of these events. Even when they were quite young, they collected coats, straightened shoes, and welcomed guests at the door. Similarly, they also actively participated in the musical evenings we hosted for quite a few years. One year, almost all the invited musicians canceled on us. The kids all pitched in with performances, playing their instruments and reciting a humorous story by Stephen Leacock. To this day, hospitality looms large in their own lives where they live in Newfoundland and Quebec.
We spent our working lives at UNB and STU. We tried to carry out our work with a spirit of service and reaching out to our co-workers and others who worked on campus. We hosted monthly lunches for those faculty, students, and any others who were interested in carrying out research using qualitative research methods. These lunches went on for about 15 years and allowed us to offer the hospitality of a collegial group and coffee too.
Because it's so challenging to succeed in inviting people into our home, we also offered hospitality at our regular morning coffee at the Tim Hortons cafeteria at STU. These coffees weren't exclusionary. We invited anyone and everyone to sit down and join us for a few minutes. Not everyone accepted the invitation, but a number did, and some of these ties are the strongest we have in Fredericton.
Off campus, we love being regulars at a few coffee shops and restaurants. It gives us a sense of community to know the staff at these restaurants, to chat with them, and to have them know us. We also bring all of our out-of-town guests to our weekly weekend breakfast. We continue to host our big potlucks. We strive to invite new people every year and to include a great diversity of people. Our goal is to create a space that is warm, welcoming, and that demonstrates the joy of a diverse group of people sharing a meal and conversation together.
It's at these dinners, when our house is filled with happy, talking people, that we feel truly at home.